Hi everyone, it's Alan Thornton here, President of St. John's Community Services, back with another episode of Advocates for All. And this month is really special because this month at St. John's Community Services, we recognize all our direct support professionals. These are the amazing heroes, our staff that are working on the front lines all throughout St. John's in 5 different states, providing care directly to those that we care about and support. And they are central to our mission. They're really the ambassadors of our mission. And so joining me today is Belinda Kimble. Really excited to have Belinda here. She's here from Trenton, Tennessee, and specifically at Harlan Morris. And so Belinda, welcome to Advocates for All, and thank you for taking the time to be here today.
You're welcome.
So maybe you could take a second and let everybody know, what is Harlan Morris? Where is it and who does it serve and help support?
We're in a small town in West Tennessee, Trenton. We are a retirement home. It is an independent retirement. They have to be able to bathe and to, live on their own and do for themselves. They don't cook for themselves or clean anymore. And we do activities for them. And they're senior citizens is who lives at Harlan Morris.
And I've had the pleasure of being at Harlan Morris multiple times. Absolutely love it. Love the community that is formed there. You're probably one of our longest tenured people at Harlan Morris, because in total, you said you worked there for about 5 years.
Yes.
We took it over about 1.5 years ago. So you were there about 3.5 years before St. John's took it over, and then you've been with us ever since. You must love it. Like, what is it about Harlan Morris that caused, because you did 2 stints, actually. You started early in 2000s and then you came back. What is it about Harlan Morris and the people there that caused you to want to be so much a part of it?
It's a wonderful community there, and it's almost like it's its own little town there with everybody. And the residents are great. They have stories to tell, and they have, things that's happened in their lives that they want to share with you. And I love being around them, and like, we're all going to be there. So, be there at some time. So, I just love being around them and hearing their stories and taking care of them and doing what they need,
So as a shift leader, why don't you tell us a little bit about what does that look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What does an average shift or an average week look like for you?
Well, now during this COVID, I've been doing some cooking in the kitchen for supper. So I prepare supper, and then I help hand out medicine, and I just do whatever they ask. We let them in and we let them outside to be on the porch, or adjust TVs is the biggest thing, because they just got a new cable boxes. So it's adjusting TVs and trying to get everything to work, or finding a phone that they've hid from each other. So it's just whatever they need, we do.
Yeah, but it looked a little different for a while, because when COVID hit, we were all very concerned, because senior citizens are some of the most vulnerable people in our communities and susceptible to not only the virus, but serious side effects, if not death from the virus. And you were one of a handful of staff volunteers that decided that you were going to take it upon yourself and move into Harlan Morris so that we could lock down Harlan Morris for over a month to limit how many people were coming in and out. That, first of all, that's just plain heroic. The fact that you would put your life on pause and that you would move into where you work in order to care for these precious people. Tell me, what was that like? What was it like to make that decision? And then what was it like to kind of live through that experience?
Well, we didn't want the COVID into Harlan Morris. And so, my children are grown. And so it wasn't, like I was leaving small children behind and going in. So, I thought it was the right thing to do and to stay there for a month. I was lucky. I got to see my husband on a daily basis. And so it made it a little bit easier, but still being away from home, it was really, really different of living where you were. That was really interesting the whole month. And I cooked the whole month I was there. So, I just, and we all worked together great. We all helped out on different shifts and doing whatever needed to be done. But the biggest thing was being away from home and not being in your own bed. It ain't nothing like your own bed.
Well, and you said that you saw your husband every day, but you really just got to physically see him. He would come and deliver things to Harlan Morris, but you had told me before, you weren't able to hug him. I mean, you had to maintain distance. So, like you said, that's a tremendous sacrifice, and I can't thank you enough. We've been fortunate in being able to keep people safe at Harlan Morris, even as the
Right.
numbers in Tennessee unfortunately have surged, and you are a huge part of that. And I think for people to understand, while all of us have had various challenges, throughout the period of the pandemic, people like yourself have gone the extra mile, and you've been willing to put others first in order to keep them safe. And that's it. Like I said, it's simply heroic, and we're all very grateful to you for your willingness to do that.
Thank you.
So you've had some interesting opportunities to meet people at Harlan Morris.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned that there was, when we were chatting earlier, you talked about a relationship that you have with one of our residents there, and just how you try to stay connected. And if there goes a period of time when you aren't connected, she reminds you that you need to be connected, right?
Right. Oh, yes.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Like I told you, she had fell and broke her hip and was in treatment rehab, and my daughter works there, and she would send messages through her for me to come visit, that it was time for me to get up there and visit her, and I would have to stop and leave early and go by there and see her. And she's just a wonderful woman. She likes football. Her husband was the coach here for Peabody for years, and she keeps up with all the football games and all that. And but there's other residents. I mean, if we all do something wrong, that Helen would politely tell you she doesn't like it done that way. So we have to adjust and do whatever the way they like it, the way they want it.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things I love about our team is that you are person-centered. Like you're thinking about the other person's, not just their needs, but what their wants are, what their desires are. I mean, they've lived their lives, right? They're in their golden years, they're seniors,
Right.
and really have an opportunity now to enjoy it to the fullest extent that they can. And you and your team go out of the way to make sure that they feel that, and that they really do. You're not just telling them, no, you need to do this. You're really helping them feel like, no, I'm living my best life. This is what I want to do.
Right.
And I want to spend my time. It's really awesome. So how, now that you've been able to move back home, how has it been kind of the last couple months? And I'm sure it's been great to be reconnected with family and back in your own bed again. How is it, how's Harlan Morris doing? How are our residents doing there?
Oh, they're doing good. They're adjusting. Amanda has asked everybody not to go out. Well, the numbers are going up, so that all of them were concerned about getting their hair done. And we're not hairdressers, but we try. But as long as they get their hair done, they're satisfied with not really going anywhere except for the doctor. So it's just been, I don't know the words I'm looking for. It's been sort of hard on them, not being able to get out and go and do like they want to, and having to try to stay in. And they are beginning to sort of feel the effects of it, because some of them haven't seen their family in a couple of months because of it, and it's affected them, not being able to touch them and not being able to hug their children and all. So but they're adjusting really, really well through it. And
I totally am sensitive to that because I know I've gone through COVID. I've gone through periods of time when I've been unable to see my kids. And it's hard, like you said earlier, there's a big difference between, seeing somebody a few feet away and actually being able to give them a hug. And certainly as our senior citizens, they want to be seeing their children, their grandchildren, their great grandchildren. So it's
Right.
definitely taken a toll, right? And I think you all are trying to do as much as you can under the circumstances to keep them upbeat and keep people trying to focus on trying to stay safe. You know, you could work in a lot of different places. So, Belinda, why did you choose to work at St. John's, and why specifically do you choose to work at Harlan Morris?
Well, I love the senior citizens that we have. And, I, my parents died at an early age, so I never had to got to see them in their golden years. And so, I think that has something to do with it, and to be able to be around the senior citizens. And, I mean, they're wonderful people. If you'll just take the time to get to know them and be around them, that it's a fulfillment.
Mm.
And I like it, and I love my job, and I love the coworkers, it's just a fulfilling job.
That's
So
tremendous. Well, I have to say, I'm just again so grateful, and on behalf of all of us in St. John's, and on behalf of the residents of Harlan Morris and our board of trustees and those that support us, I just want to say thank you for being such a hero. Thank you for putting yourself out there and putting yourself in the gap on behalf of our residents. And thank you for being an advocate for the people that you serve. It's, their lives are so much better because you care so much. And so thank you for what you do, Belinda, and thank you for taking the time today.
you're welcome.